You're watching Moby Mike Pumpkins on YouTube. All right, it's the start of week 7, and we are going to wash out the tanks, get the pumps in. Got the pressure washer. They got algae in them. We try and keep them painted black to stop the algae, but you know, you got nutrients in there, and any light that gets in there it makes algae, so we rinse them out at the beginning of the year, try and keep them from getting the sprinklers plugged. So we'll rinse them all out and get the pumps hooked up. That'll be the one thing crossed off the list for the week. All right, Monday, June 1st. We got the sprinklers set up on this plant. We're gonna water 1,000 gallons, and you're sitting there going, whoa, 1,000 gallons. Well, it's about 1,600 square feet. That's equal to 1 inch of rain. And if you got 1 inch of rain, you go, boy, we needed that. But when I say 1,000 gallons, you go, ho. And honestly, I'm gonna do that a couple times this week because it has been so dry here. It's very dry deep down, and there's only really water at the plant. And I need to make sure I get this moisture really good further down, because the plant's going to start growing really fast and the roots are going to start exploring, and we're going to want that moisture to be there. So we're going to put 1,000 down on there today, maybe 1,000 again tomorrow. That pumpkins could probably come out of the hoop tomorrow. I might be able to get 2 days out of it. I put her on there Kitterwampus, so that she's got a little extra room, but I hand watered about 100 gallons on that in the area where I think the roots are, but we're gonna need to do the same thing. We got a few lines yet to set up. I might need to get some fittings so we get them 3 sprinklers out there. The watermelon, we gave about 50 gallons in there just to try and keep all that stuff, same thing, water down deep before it dries out too much. So, and the cool thing about the hydro is you don't need to water it. That's part of the system. That's what I love about it. Like, hey, it's already watered. But eventually I did. Yeah, we better show this because I wasn't showing you this the other night. You can see I burnt all that with the weed burner. And I got to figure out here where you see this sand. I did the watermelon the first year of the hydro. I put down weed fabric and I put this sand, and as you can see, there's all sorts of weeds and stuff. And I'm wondering if I hit it with a tiller. I don't know if I'll wrap it. This would be my tractor tiller on a big 40 horse tractor. I think it would power through it, and if it wraps around the tines, I found when I was burning weeds that fabric just burns right up. I could probably burn it off the rotor blades or whatever you call that stuff. Either way, we're just kind of prepping this up. You can see the few spots I missed with the weed burner. It works pretty good. I don't think it kills the roots all that well, and it comes back, but just trying to get these weeds under control, because this one's doing decent too. And it's funny because I'll show you, you know, I sprayed the other day. You can see a little discoloration on them first couple leaves there. Both this and the Haas have it. The bigger one didn't, probably because it's bigger. And you know, I didn't measure any of the chemicals, I just did it by eye, so inherently it's probably too strong, but I see dead bugs all over them, so I did a good job. But anyway, that's what we're doing. Gonna get 1,000 gallons down today. Probably gonna put like at least 3,000 gallons a piece on each of these. Like I said, I know it sounds like a lot, but just have AI calculate your square footage. Like these are 1,600, 1,000 gallons and 1,600 square feet is 1 inch of rain. So depending on what you got, and if you want to think of it in terms of rain, you know, it'll make more sense. Like if you're dry, you probably want like 3 inches of rain to get you back where you need to be. Otherwise, you're going to struggle all season. It's, you know, pollination's coming up in a few weeks, and a few weeks after that, if you don't get any rain, you're going to go, Mike, why don't I have any gains? Why don't I have any gains? It's probably because you don't got no dang water, son. Okay? All right, guys, we're watering the other pumpkin. We're going to put down 1,000 gallons like we did the other day. I got smart, hooked all my lines up, and then I rinsed them out. I didn't rinse them on the other one, and all my sprinklers were jam plugged. But even with rinse and line, I got this sprinkler plugged. I think I can see what's in there. Let me see if I can get it out for you. Can you see in there? Anyway, I'll get it out for you, but there's a piece of corn in there. So the mice got in the line or something, put a piece of corn in there. Cute. So even though, like I said, I rinsed it out for a good couple minutes each line, which is a lot of flow with the 1 horsepower pump, but still get junk in there. All right, there you go, a piece of corn. Now normally in this jet right here, there's a vein, little plastic thing that straightens the flow out. Usually without those, they don't run good. It wasn't in there. I'm gonna put it back in without it. Maybe just different style doesn't have one, but note that there should be like a plastic vein flow straightener in there. We'll see if it works. Here's the Schmidt plant, June 5th. Looking good. I just clipped a pumpkin off right there, and it had 8 secondaries on one side and 7 on the other for 15. Probably would have opened in 5 days, like June 10th, plenty early. I plucked her off, no big deal. So I would go with 15 secondaries if it was like June 20th or later. Well, we've got some time on that yet. So basically, the next pumpkin that shows up, I dug in the tip and I didn't see one, which means there's at least 10 days yet. So the next pumpkin that shows up is gonna be the chosen one. So it could be around the 20th, but there'll be over 20 secondaries then too. And then we got the haste here. Let me show you what I did on this one, because I messed up. I always mess up. You can see these leaves here. See these couple leaves here? Remember the other week when I said I was gonna spray for bugs? I just eyeballed everything and then I sprayed them. And this and the hydro did the same thing. They got a little upset. A little too strong, you know, plant's a little small. I mean, I sprayed that plant with the same thing, but it was bigger. It took it, whatnot. You know, obviously this plant's smaller. I don't see anything in the tip. So, you know, you got 10, 12 days. If you don't see anything in the tip, you don't want to dig too much. You could break something in there. So really, like, basically the first pumpkin that shows on this one, that's the one we take. So that makes it easy too. Like, I don't like having choices where like, oh, I got 3 opening in the window. Looks like these are, I mean, we don't know what's coming behind them. There could be 3 in a row coming, but basically the next one is the one we'll take on all these. So we just wait her out. All right, so we lifted the hydro hoop off when I was coming to do some tilling, and then normally I just lift the bucket up real high so you can see underneath it when you're tilling. And my hydraulic hose exploded. I was covered head to toe. I haven't even seen where the line broke yet, but it was just spraying basically right on my leg like crazy. I mean, you can see the inside of this cab. Can you see all that in the cab here? It's all the way up to the ceiling. Like, I mean, I got the shit in my damn eyes. It's coming from somewhere under here. So, oh, there it is. Right there. Spraying right at me. So, we will have to fix that up. That's the great thing. Like, all these hydraulic lines are old on this girl. Sweet. It's funny because I was looking at this one. I seen the other day this one was, I replaced that one like not that long ago. I'm like, the rest of these lines are probably like 60 years old. All right, guys, got the hydro pumpkin looking pretty good. We're gonna do the first water change. I'm pumping the tank down now, and you can see the roots. You kind of put those cages in there for the roots to hang on to, and you know, it's really not. It's really not at all. Maybe that one's kind of wrapped around that other one, but they're just kind of twisted there. They're not really going down the cages I put in there for them. So, but anyway, yeah, you can also see it. I've got some finer root hairs, which that was a big problem last year. So I lowered the EC, but they shouldn't be this brown. I don't like that at all. That's not good. Hopefully the water change help take any bad stuff out, and we're gonna put a little hydrogen peroxide on some of this brown stuff. I do not love that at all. And we're gonna do that, do the water change. Other than that, it's looking pretty good. They told me at work some 60-mile-an-hour gusts come through, and yeah, you can see the plant. She's a little tilted over there. I'm not gonna go out there while it's raining, but she'll probably be okay. Same with the other one, it looks like a little bit. Same with the hydro. Probably leave them be, and some of that will just spruce back up on its own. But what do you do? I mean, get a 60-mile-an-hour wind. Stuff happens. That looks like the hydro got the worst. But I'll walk up to this one. I mean, not too bad. Just some leaves flipped over. Some of that will correct itself, but you know, most people worry, hey, you know, roof might have blown off, shingles might have blown off, trees might have fallen down. First thing I was like, we gotta check on these pumpkins, make sure they're all right. Now they'll be all right. They don't look awesome. Not super happy. Wow, guys, take a peek from last night till tonight. Remember I said they should perk back up, but I wasn't expecting this. I mean, all these plants, you know, I thought half the leaves were broken. You know, a lot of them were just kind of leaning, but they straightened right back up. I mean, even this hydro, like I can't even tell nothing happened. If I wouldn't have filmed it yesterday, I wouldn't have been here. I wouldn't have known anything happened. So we're all good in the hood, ready to rock again. All right, we're gonna get the hydro set up. So that tote there, we're gonna put some blocks just to lift it up. It needed to be a little bit higher when I did the water change. I got that pipe there and then it goes in there. And then I got two more totes here. So when I changed the water, this was the water I took out of there. So that's fully hydroponic solution. And then we're gonna put it in the tote behind there a little bit, say 20-30 gallons at a time, mixed with some regular water. And then we're gonna water the outside area of the plant. So anyway, we're gonna put those blocks in there. Then I'm gonna pump this tote over to there. And then I'm gonna put these two totes on railroad ties. And man, did I forget how heavy these railroad ties are. Jeepers. Them guys at Menards, they were looking at me all funny instead of helping me. I don't know why. And I looked up after the fact that these things can like average like 200 pounds a piece. I don't know how that is, but yeah, you got to put your big boy pants on if you're gonna lift them. But anywho, and then I got, this is the pump like I used to water with. I still have two of these, but they just weren't quite doing it. They always struggle to run three, and I got two pumps that are just slightly bigger. So I'm just gonna run two sprinklers on this system, and we'll use that pump. And then I got some fittings to, we'll show you the header after I make it. It'll be a little bit less in depth than the other one. It'll be a little simpler, cheaper, but it will work. So anyway, we'll start working on that. All right, let's talk about it. We got the hydro, which is a 330 gallon tank in the ground. This is the makeup tank. So when I want to switch this water out, I'll fill this up with water, pH adjust it, nutrients. Then I'm gonna pump this tank out to this tank right here, which is already is filled up there. And then later on, so once that tank's pumped, this one then drains in there, right? And now I have this tank of water here, and I have another empty tote here, and I have a pump there. And I'm gonna water the plant that's outside of there. As you know, like these giant pumpkins throw tap roots down. So the rest of the plant is throwing roots besides the roots that are in the base there. So what I'll do is every 2 weeks I'll do a water change. So what we'll do is we'll take 20 gallons from this tote, put it in there, add some water to it, and then I'm gonna run two sprinklers off this pump, and then we'll water the plant. And then as I take like 20 gallons a day from this tote and dilute it with some water from this tote, 2 weeks later, that'll all be gone. The rest of the plant outside the hydro is going to get still hydro nutrients, the old ones. So it's kind of like drained to waste out here. It's just going into the soil. So we're feeding it the same full hydroponic solution as that was in the tank. So with obviously some nutrients missing. So, you know, a guy could guess what those nutrients are and redo the tank, but it's not that big a deal. Soil's got buffering. There's going to be other nutrients in the soil. So anyway, from last year, as you know, we grew almost an 800 pounder, but I didn't water anything outside the tank last year. So now we're going to water outside the tank, and it's going to be nutrients from with the hydro. So should be pretty sweet, I'm thinking. All right, I know someone's going to ask, how'd you do this? Well, I had enough fittings in the cart to do it a completely different way. I was going to do it with 1.5 PVC, but I decided to do the whole thing with 1-inch sprinkler line because A, I had a bunch of fittings and hose, and I'm only gonna run one pump, and I'm only gonna suck out of one tank, and it's not gonna be that big a deal. I gotta shut this water off. So there you go. I was gonna gravity feed. I put 50 gallons in there. That's a little much, but actually if I fill the tank full, I'll get 2 waterings, so that'd be about 25. Anyway, so I use these rubber couplers. People are like, those take a cam lock, and those cam lock fittings are like 15 bucks. Well, this is like 250. So use that, and then you got some flex in your system. So anyway, I just use that, adapted it to these push lock fittings, 1-inch polyflow over here, and then I just sat there and made some pipes there at Menards. And what was weird is these are garden hose adapters. Normally you can get these in brass. They only have plastic ones, but seem to work fine. And then plastic valves are like way cheaper than that. So anyway, just galvanized piping. I was gonna run 2 sprinklers. I wish I would have put a 3rd port on here, because I was thinking too I might use some of this solution to water trees depending on the needs of the plant stuff. I might have some extra water available, and I just have a spigot to fill the bucket, but oh well. So yeah, there's just some different 1-inch fittings and adapters and valves, and everything's from Menards. And yep. So yeah, that's a threaded fitting that goes into a 1.5 inch that goes right into that boot. So easy peasy, whatever you want to dream up. All right, here's the plants, end of the week here. So what I did was I got the weed burner out. We burnt all the weeds. Here's the 544 Schmidt. We're giving a little water, a little bit fish in there, a little bit of micronutrient blend. Oh, we're getting wet. What else we got in there? So in the water we got fish, and then we got the 5.2 humic kelp, and then we got a little bit of amino chelated micronutrients, just a little pinch there. But yeah, you can see we did the burning. Here's the haste. I'll see if we can get the watermelon. Don't have to go all the way in there, but he's just a little, see, you can't even see, he's just a little guy yet. So got the haste here. What's cool about this plant is smaller than the other, but really the main vine's about just as long. It's actually probably going to have its pumpkin open before that one. We're going to go with it. So we'll have a earlier pumpkin on a smaller plant, and that'll have a little later on a bigger plant. So I imagine that Schmidt one will win the race, but we don't know. And then the hydro over here, you've seen the work we did with the totes and stuff, and burying that, you know. And I've been to Menards and Fleet Farm like twice, and I forgot to buy extra sprinklers each time. But anyway, I was burning this too, the weeds and stuff. I finally got, you know, they only had like 5-foot extension hoses, but I got 2 of them, plus what's on there is about 16 feet. So, but I burned about a whole tank of propane doing the hydro and the 2 regular ones. So, and then Jim Ford's coming over tomorrow. I think we'll have the video done before then, so maybe beginning of the next video Jim will be over. And then my friend Brian, who actually lives kind of near Jim, I'm gonna go to his place tonight. He's got some pumpkins, and he's got a kink vine, and he's wondering what he should do. And I'll just go over there, you know, con him out of a few free beers for some free pumpkin advice, and, you know, mutually benefit to both of us. Now, Howard Dill pumpkins, these are the ones I don't take too much care of, but they're doing all right. That was the 785 Schmidt. Here's a 1083. Here's a burdock. Not a lot of difference. Another 1083 Schmidt. And then we got the Caspers. And I'll be honest, I'm not doing a lot of work with these, but that's the whole point of them. They're just chilling, you know. This is kind of representative of, you know, if you just wanted to have fun and try and do one. I think like when we go see Brian tonight, his plants are a little bit bigger than this, and get himself a nice pumpkin for the porch. So all right, we'll catch you guys next week.